Governor, I got started early this morning. The very first two people I caught coming out of a precinct voted yes. Haven't seen a whole lot of yeses since then. What are you hearing so far with regard to the likelihood of a pass?
Well, I think there's a good likelihood. Again, it's really who turns out makes the difference today, because it's probably going to be a lower turnout election. But the great part is we've got a huge coalition of 150 plus organizations, and many of which are great at turning out the vote. So I hope their members, their families, and their friends turn out to vote yes.
One specific criticism that I've heard is the people who were voting against it did not like the idea that it was packaged with other things other than road funding. How do you respond to that?
Well, it needed to be packaged together in many respects, because one of the issues is our gas prices could have gotten too high if we simply would have added additional taxes on our fuel without removing the retail sales tax from that. So when you remove the retail sales tax, it's important we wouldn't create a problem for schools and local government. So that's why it required this vote of the people. So that's a constitutional change.
Mr. Governor, I was just in Jackson this morning, and there were 7 people, and the polls had already been open for about an hour. And I talked to 2 of those people, and they both said they were voting no. So how do you respond to that, and why do you think there's such a low turnout today?
Well, again, any kind of off-season election like this typically has lower turnout. But I appreciate people taking the time to vote. That's democracy. That's important. And again, the whole issue of yes versus no, the more people know about this proposal, they see real value in terms of safer roads for Michigan, investing in education, investing in things like police and fire with local government. These are important matters that we can do better on in Michigan.
A lot of people said that, yes, they agree that roads need to be fixed, but they don't agree with the way that it was done. So,
well, again, hopefully people don't let their anger, potentially the legislative process or something, really distract them from this is a good policy and this is a good outcome. Everyone wants better roads in Michigan. I haven't met anybody that doesn't want better roads, and this is a better, safer roads proposal. This is the one we got through the legislature with a 2/3 vote of both parties.
One thing that I was hearing was that people were saying that this should have been done simply by the legislature, that they were frustrated that this was being, as they put it, kicked to the people, and that they didn't feel that this was the best proposal that could have happened. What would you say to them? Is this something that if they simply don't seem to have a trust that the government was able to do this themselves?
Well, again, this was required because we have a complicated system today. If you look at what we pay at the pump, we have 19 cents a gallon going to transportation. The balance of our taxes there are sales taxes, retail sales tax. That isn't going to transportation. So I think everyone felt it's best if we pay a good chunk of this by paying at the pump for roads and bridges. This proposal essentially has everything going at the pump, constitutionally guaranteed to go to transportation. To keep gas prices from getting too high, we had to remove the retail sales tax piece. We don't want to hurt schools and local government, so that's why we needed to go to a vote of the people. To go from 6 to 7% requires a vote of the people. And the legislature, it required a 2/3 vote to put on the ballot. So the system did work well here in terms of doing that. I appreciate people not wanting to get out and vote potentially, but let's not let that distract from the fact we want better, safer roads.